His philosophy was that, and this is going to sound, I was a little insulted at the time, but I guess he's kind of right. The takeaway from that conversation is that English teachers are a dime a dozen. Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a piece of advice that I was given when I was becoming a brand new teacher way back in the 1990s. It has served me well all these years, and it might help out somebody out there in YouTube land. Especially this video is for brand new teachers or those who are thinking about becoming teachers. So when I went through credentialing school, it was the mid-90s, and I went to San Francisco State University. I already had my bachelor's degree. I actually had a degree in journalism, and I was working as a newspaper reporter and editor, and just knew that that wasn't a great match for me in terms of career and longevity. And so I knew I wanted to transition in my late 20s to becoming a teacher. So I went through all the steps that you have to do and the long and wandering path. And when I was meeting with my job placement career counselor person at the school there, he mentioned to me that, well, first, my journalism degree wasn't going to get me an English credential, so I was going to have to take a series of tests. So the way it used to be for credentialing, and I'm not sure how it is for you today, because it seems like every 5 years they put more and more hurdles and hoops in front of the kids coming up, not kids, you guys are young adults, but of the new teachers coming up, you have to do more and more things. And so he told me the bad news was just that my journalism degree did not have enough English classes to let me be an English teacher, and I was going to have to take a test. And there were two series of tests you had to take back in the late 90s. One was called the Praxis and one was called the SSAT. Not the same SSAT as there is today. I actually looked at my old paperwork just to make sure. It was called the Single Subject Assessment for Teaching. Single subject assessments for teaching. So he was like, Laura, look, you've got to take this test anyway to become an English teacher, because I didn't have enough college units and I didn't want to spend more years in college for that. And so then he said, why don't you go ahead and get secondary credentials and other things also? And so the way it worked was if you had a certain number of college units, that would qualify you to be like subject area qualified. If you didn't, which I did not in any area, then you could take a series of exams. And luckily, I was able to prep for those and pass those. And I took more than just English. And his philosophy was that, and this is going to sound, I was a little insulted at the time, but I guess he's kind of right. The takeaway from that conversation is that English teachers are a dime a dozen. Everybody wants to be an English teacher, although I don't know if that's true. But at the time, I was like, ooh, yeah, I better differentiate myself in some significant way. My journalism background definitely helped because I could do school publications, newspaper, debate team, yearbook, broadcast journalism, those sorts of things. I could teach. But really, I had to have that piece of paper that said I could teach other classes. So I went ahead and tested for history and passed, hallelujah. And I don't know how that happened because I would be the world's worst history teacher. But it has been helpful, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I went ahead and took health science just because I'm pretty much into like health and fitness and that sort of stuff. And I know a little bit about the science behind it. So I thought I might be able to pass that test, and I did. And what ended up happening, so that professor advisor was correct, by differentiating my credential list, a whole extra wave of jobs opened up to me that I would not have been qualified for any other way. So my very first job teaching, I was actually teaching English, health to freshmen, and I was the yearbook advisor. And I gotta think that when administrators or HR people are looking at the stacks of resumes and they see that you can do more than just one thing, that gets you in the door. As the years went along, I was able to like slough off those health classes because talking about like human sexuality and reproduction with 14-year-olds, that gets old really fast. And one year I was like, I can't do it anymore. Give me all English all the time. But they knew I was there if they had a rogue health class that they needed covered. Yeah, Randazzo can do that. I was able to work at a really small school, an alternative school, where I had the same group of kids for the half day. And then at the half day, I switched and got a second group of kids. So I really only had 2 classes, but they were tiny. There was only like 8 kids in each class. And I was their English teacher, their reading supplement, advisor. I was their history teacher. I was their business teacher because it kind of fell under the social studies, economics kind of stuff that they were able to do. I taught a little bit of art in there, and I was their health teacher also. So in that block of time, I was able to hit a lot of these, what we called humanities. So I was qualified to teach humanities because I had the extra credentials. A lot of middle school job postings that I see, they combine the English and the history together into a humanities like 2-hour block. And I would be qualified to teach that, but not if I only had my English credential. So as it is right now, I can teach 6th to 12th, any of those subjects. And I like that flexibility. So if you are considering becoming an English teacher, fantastic. Make sure that whatever state you plan to live in, that you're going to have what you need to be qualified. What you'll find is once you move around a lot, like I do, different states have different requirements, and you're going to like find yourself moving to Tennessee with 20 plus years of experience, having to take more courses because you have to jump over those hoops for them. So it's just the way the game is. Some states are, I think, better to have a credential from than others. So my California credential has a lot of what they call reciprocity agreements with a lot of other states. So it's actually made things easier in terms of New Mexico and Idaho and teaching in those states because they're like, oh yeah, green light, you're good. And then, for Tennessee, there's still a little bit more to do, which is totally fine. We'll see. So anyway, that's my tidbit of advice for you, brand new, about to become teachers. Just how can you edge out the competition? What can you do to make yourself just a little bit extra? Word of warning, only get credentials in things that you're actually like happy to teach. One of my girlfriends, she has a brain that's good with numbers and letters. So she's an English teacher, but she's also credentialed to be a math teacher. And she had to teach math for a couple of sections of math when she really just, her heart wasn't in it and she didn't want to. It was fine because it got her in the door and it got her a job. But you don't want to like have to do full-time a job that you're just not that into. So there is a little bit of a flip side, but overall, I needed a job. I needed a paycheck. I was happy to teach those health classes when I had them. And actually, I probably have some stories from there also that I'll fold into the channel for you guys. All right, that's it for me this time. I hope you are well. New teachers. How is it out there? Like brand new college folks. I had to take the Praxis and the SSAT because I didn't have enough college units to qualify. Are you finding that like that's what you have to take also, or are they making you do all kinds of other things? Right before I graduated, they threw the CLAD at us, and the B-CLAD, the cross-cultural language and academic development, which basically was just a test to make sure we could teach non-native English speakers in our mainstream classrooms, and that's fine. I took that test too, but that was a curveball they threw at us at the very end. It seems like every legislature, like every 4 years, decides there's a whole new scoop of things that will fix these teachers, when really they could just like let us do our job and maybe give us like money for paper for the copier machine. But that's my 2 cents. All right, hope you guys are well. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, do the things. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.